Welcome to TYT Sports. Jason and Ben with you. Some more NBA playoff action. The Rockets and the Warriors. Are you not entertained, Ben?
You know, I had a thing last night. You get older, you might have some things. When your beard grows in now, oddly, just gray on the chin, you might have.
You have gray over here, my friend.
I got you, but this is flagrant right here. Yeah, we don't need the tight shot. That's just, what are you, being a dick? I watched a bunch of highlights, and I was following it on my phone a little bit. And, you know, it's one of those things, the Warriors get that big lead, that 15-point lead in the second quarter, midway to late second quarter. And then the Rockets went on what appears to be an incredibly slow, basically 15-0 run to tie it, you know. So the Rockets are capable, as we saw against the Clippers, of really being a really tough defensive team, which I will admit, I didn't think that would be the case of a team that sort of is anchored by James Harden.
Well, so James Harden has improved his defense overall during the regular season, during the playoffs.
You just have to try.
But what needs to be addressed, too, is that Dwight Howard's interior defense, a major reason as to why they were able to beat the Clippers.
But we know he's capable of being a difference-making defensive player. But so now, based on what happened in mostly in the end of Game 6 for the Clippers, and then really basically all of Game 7, and then the really non-effort the Clippers seemed to put forth in Game 5. You've seen now a really nice defensive effort all the way here by the Rockets, and they had a real opportunity to win that game last night. Obviously, get the ball in 8.5 seconds to play, and James Harden in the open court. There was no clear path at any time to the basket, and the Warriors, speaking of defense, come up really huge there at the end and get a stop. But the Rockets have just found a way. Also, you know, a couple times there, you know, Harden had hit a three, and then Bogut scores and gets fouled, and the lead kept. I mean, they were up 8 with inside of 2 minutes to play. The mere fact that the Rockets had the ball 8.5 seconds to play and a chance to win it. I haven't read much about it. I don't know whether McHale's getting guff for not calling a timeout, but I think that was the right decision. It just didn't work out. He's
not getting too much guff for not calling the timeout, and his reasoning makes perfect sense. Mostly because when, as he mentions in his press conference, that James Harden's a downhill player, and once he starts going full speed momentum with him, he can't stop him. He said, he quotes, he feasts off these opportunities.
We're not going to go anywhere. We're just going to keep on standing here and swinging. That's what we do. We just got to keep standing here and swinging. And as I said, I told our team, I said, we battled back, and I'll take our best player on a broken floor any day of the week.
Going back to Steph, it seems like that trap was working for you at the end of games. Is that something you think you might be doing earlier in the game moving forward?
I bet if you come to the next game, you'll find out.
James Harden is one of 5, 6, maybe 7 players in the league, Steph Curry across the court from him being another one, LeBron being another one, that you don't need to call a timeout in that situation.
I think you're mistaken. I think there are many more than that. Look, I don't need to see stats in front of me to know that NBA teams score more off a miss at the other end than they do off an inbounds play, off a dead ball. They just do. Like, that's why fast breaks are good. That's why defense leads to offense. And so, because the defense isn't set, and the Warriors' defense wasn't totally set, and if Harden had made a different choice or merely hadn't lost the ball, then, you know, I think it was Terrence Jones cutting down the middle. If Harden has full control of the ball, then he's looking up, and he sees Terrence Jones, and that's a dunk. And the Rockets lead by 1 with a second and a half to play, and I think the Warriors were out of timeouts.
You're not wrong there. We have a picture of the last play, a screenshot with, I believe, 1.5 seconds left on the clock. This is what basically was going through James Harden's head as he's about to lose the ball and, of course, lose the game. This is after James Harden got the ball back from Dwight Howard. So before that, Jones is cutting right up the middle as Harden's bringing the ball.
So with 3.5 seconds left, he missed Jones.
A little bit more time than that, yes.
So that dunk would have happened with 3 or 5, but I think the Warriors were out of timeouts, I think. So
the Warriors were out of timeouts, correct.
So whatever play they make, even if there's 3 or 4, it's still going to end up being pretty close to a distance jumper from somebody. So
which, if I had to pick one player to make a
so obviously the Warriors would have made it, won the game anyway. So that doesn't make any difference.
Of course. So, I mean, in general, the Rockets deserve credit. They're not laying down, especially in the fourth quarter and the last few minutes of these games, because I felt they were out of it in Game 1 when they were down about 10 points, and then Ariza makes an unbelievable good heads-up play with a steal and finishes. James Harden throws up a good 3 ball to make it even closer. And I thought the aggregate score through these two games would be a much bigger differential than it's been so far. But, I mean, yesterday when you get 9.5 points on the Rockets in a conference finals game, I'm going to take that because I feel that what did Vegas think was going to happen in this series compared to what, we've been observing with the Rockets since, I want to say, Game 5, Game 6 against the Clippers in the previous series. They're fighting. They're playing with a lot of, heart you can't quantify, but they're also playing good basketball where they're drawing up good plays between Harden and Dwight Howard. Did you see the highlight? Because I know you said you were catching up through the phone and all that, but there was a great play when they were down 5 points. James Harden looked to throw up, would be, what a terrible shot. And Dwight Howard comes across using his length, and the guy has a lot of fucking length. Comes up and flushes it down for 2. It's an unbelievably great, drawn-up play. And when you see that offense work,
I don't know that it was drawn up, but it was a
good heads-up play.
Yeah,
of course, there was also
a great basketball decision by James Harden.
So now what we get out of this series, which at first I thought between watching the Rockets and the Clippers, I was like, oh God, the foul shooting, the amount of games were taking 3.5 hours long. Now you get this James Harden versus Steph Curry, MVP versus number 2 on the MVP list, back and forth between each other. You get Josh Smith, who seems to still be playing decent basketball, even though he's streaky. And the Rockets, who are down 2-0 in the series, are not out of the series.
Yeah, I think they're out of the series.
That's what's funny, and I thought you were going to say that because you said that during the Clippers. And of course I want the
No, but
Warriors.
everybody thought, yes, I did. I was wrong, and everybody did because they had just lost, in addition to being down 3-1, they had just been humiliated in Los Angeles twice. Run out of the gym in every way. We thought, like, at an opportunity where the Clippers were, Chris Paul didn't play in one, you were like, what are you going to take advantage? It can't get better for the Rockets.
I actually believe the Rockets can take 2 games on their home court and get back into the series because they've been playing so well. It almost seems like, Steph Curry, and you see what happens in the second quarter when their 7 jump shooters and Barnes, Curry, Draymond, Klay Thompson go a little bit cold, just a little bit cold. And that turns into a 15-point lead for the Rockets.
Can the Rockets?
15-point
The Rockets
comeback.
just beat the Clippers in Game 5 and Game 7 at home, and they beat them easily. So can the Rockets beat a good team like the Warriors twice at home? No question. But if they don't, the series is over. Because being down 3-1 when you don't have home court advantage is very different from being down 3-1 when you do have home court advantage.
It's also very different when you're playing a team like the Golden State Warriors. Let's move over to the Eastern Conference Finals as the Cavaliers and the Hawks. Game 2 tonight in Cleveland. But Game 1 saw the emergence of J.R. Smith on the big stage. I am a big fan of J.R. Smith now that he's not a New York Knick. I did love the Twitter outrage of the correlation between J.R. Smith scoring all of Cleveland's bench points equals Phil Jackson's an idiot.
Oh, for letting him go?
Right, which is to me one of the most, I tweeted out, I believe the Twitter has caught the stupid, because no, they're not correlated. Sure, he's doing wondrous things for the Cavs this season, building a team of a championship roster, but what was J.R. Smith going to do on the Knicks this year? What was he going to do on the Knicks next year? Getting rid of some bad money on the team, which is great, at least
also,
in
you
my
got to
opinion.
understand, a guy who was, it was a little unmotivated, and maybe understandably unmotivated, being a instant offense veteran on a terrible directionless team, or a team where the direction, because Phil Jackson is not directionless, but a team where the direction is pretty far removed, like it's a long-term plan. So, it's understandable he wasn't motivated. Now you play with LeBron, what do you know? You get motivated.
So what's one way to motivate you to play really well? LeBron James, but I know you have a quote in front of you. Can you read that?
I got a couple of them. So J.R. Smith was, he had 28 points. He was 8 of 12 on threes. He was 6 for 9 on contested field goal attempts and 4 for 7 on uncontested attempts. So he was good on both. But J.R. Smith said, he got a couple of great things. I'd rather take a contested shot than an open shot any day. It's kind of boring when you take open shots. And then he added this. When he's going good involving his teammates. It's kind of hard hitting the shots I was hitting to try and pass the ball, but you've got to figure out a way.
To score, you need to shoot some more.
When shooters make shots, they're incredibly valuable players.
Yeah.
And in any given game, J.R. Smith contributed.
And
yeah.
look what happens when shooters, streaky shooters historically, catch fire. Klay Thompson scored 37 points in a quarter. In 1 quarter, J.R. Smith, it's not the first time J.R. Smith has made 6 of 7 buckets in 1 quarter before. Nope. And it's not going to be the last time he does it, but And like when we look forward into the future, no, could I predict any of these things? Of course not. But I guarantee there's going to be a point in his playoff career where he goes 1 of 9 in a game and he just can't hit anything and he doesn't pass the ball. So that's like my problems with J.R. Smith is that when he's on, of course, it's great to root for him. He puts on a good show. There's no doubt about that. He's exciting for the fans. But what was needed in Game 1 without Kyrie Irving or a hobbled Kyrie Irving was the Cleveland J.R. Smith bench to score 28 points, and he did.
I think he should get a
medal?
Get a tattoo. I think he'd look better with a tattoo.
Just one?
Yeah, he should get one. I think it'd be good.
He would not be the only one to have a new tattoo if he were to get one, as Aaron Hernandez got one in prison recently.
Warriors, Cavaliers, obviously it's the finals that the league wants, and it's the finals that I think everybody wants. It would be interesting, although the Warriors, Hawks would have the compelling nature of watching two teams who move the ball incredibly
Very well.
Yeah.
Click on Ben to subscribe to TYT Sports. Thank you for watching. Follow us at TYT Sports and leave your thoughts on the Rockets Clippers.
Warriors in 3.
You can't.
Warriors in 3. I guarantee it. Take it to the bank.